Gary, we'll give this another shot. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time today. I know that we're in the off season as such, but you're going to give us and the fans and everyone who is watching some of your time. And we're going to talk today about everything Faversham and hopefully have a stronger message going forward for the fans as well that will give them something to lean into. So first of all, how are you? How is the off season treating you?
We had two Saturdays so far that without football. It's pretty dull, isn't it? I think when you go every game and you're here every week, it sort of becomes a bit of a shopping day and mowing your grass day and stuff like that. So even though it's nice in theory having a time off, you sort of want to be back in it. I mean, it's something every football person will miss it. So yeah. Looking forward to the new season already.
Not watching any of the playoffs now?
Yeah, we've watched a lot. I mean, we watched the Vars final last week, which was amazing, and well done to Whitstable for that. Brilliant. But yeah, we're keeping close eyes. Obviously, there's still playoffs going on there, isn't there? So
we'll touch on to that as well.
Yeah.
But the best thing here is that we're not in the playoffs. I know.
No, thank Christ.
Thank Christ.
Thank
I know
Christ.
that. Let's rewind a year. Let's go back to that horrible night.
Mm-hmm.
Where we took control early, and then it's not been horrible. We did capitulate, didn't we? Really, we let Corinthian back in the game, and it ended up at the dreaded penalties. And credit to everyone who stepped up. Penalties are the worst thing in the world. But how have you felt since then? And how did you feel going into the new season? And how do you review the season that we've had?
Yeah, I think there's been a few low points since I've been there for the last 3 years. I think being relegated the first year was probably an ultimate low because I felt quite responsible for that because someone's got to carry the can, and I believe that could have been avoided. Again, new chairman, a bit wet behind the ears maybe. In business, no, but obviously in football terms, maybe. So, yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment. We got kicked out the Vars, obviously by a technicality of admin. Another big pill to swallow. And then last season with the playoff semi-final, done so well when Tommy came in to get second because of people sort of had a bit of a go when we let Sammy Moore go. But even if the league was all balanced out, I don't even think we were around the playoff line. It wasn't even we were guaranteed then. And then obviously Tommy's come in, won quite a few games at the end, and we come second. So to come second and not go up, that's how Sittingbourne finished off this year, and it's hard to swallow. That was a hard one. And when the playoff finishes, everyone just goes. The players go because they're upset. The fans go because they're upset. We're sort of kicking around a few cans of whatever on the floor, thinking that's the season done, and you don't really say goodbye to anyone. It's just done and dusted, which is a horrible way to end the season off. So it did leave us obviously devastated, but it took a lot of time, long time to get over that. I'm assuming everyone feels the passion like I do, and it takes a bit of time. So you got to bounce back, and then you got to try and go again, and you got to pick yourself up, and then you got to go and support Tommy in the recruitment for the new season, which obviously with Tashi and stuff coming in for new players for us, it was a big signing. So, and then we come through this year as champions, just losing 2 games. It's not too bad. We laugh sometimes about only losing 2 games, but Larkfield at home and obviously VCD away. If you're going to lose 2 games, they're probably the ones to lose, and too many draws, I think. But again, we got the job done by 7 points, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and the question really is what was your feelings like when it was VCD who were in the absolute driver's seat? Was you worried?
I was a bit worried. I mean, it's no secret that the panic was there. But I had a 1-to-1 with Tommy. We had a 3-hour conversation. He's a football man. He knows his stuff. He knows his twists and turns. Where from this side of the fence, you're a little bit worried, but he was as calm as they come. kept telling me not to panic. But there was a big day in our league, I think, when VCD got that point deducted.
When there was they played Corinthians,
and then they played that night, and I think they drew that game, which
terrible game.
Then spun it into we're in the driving seat then. So that was the pivotal day. That was for the league. I think the guys knew they had the trophy back in their own hands, and they went and done it.
It's a bit different because I know Tommy says that he doesn't come out looking at results, and he doesn't say, "Oh well, we got to worry about VCD." As a chairman, is it a bit different? Is it you're like, well, we're looking at VCD here? I mean, I remember texting you before they got the points, and I said, "This is where I think they will lose points." And I think they did lose on a lot of occasions. But is it a bit like it for you differently, as in you're, and I'm not saying Tommy's not invested, but you're invested in a different manner. And it's not horrible. Some managers will come and go. Is it a different type of investment? Was you looking at results and thinking?
I mean, I look at every result, every game, who scored. I think when you're this side of the white line, you have no control. I mean, Tommy has a certain control up until the 90 minutes kicks off. Then his players have the control. It's very difficult on the sideline because you have no influence in anything apart from decisions made well before that game even kicks off. If it's a player, if it's suspension, if it's whatever it may be. So I think every supporter looks at the league tables, every supporter looks at the fixtures, every supporter can do their own predictions, but when you're involved, the players in the dressing room and stuff, which is not our position to be in, then they have more faith in themselves, I guess, and their ability sometimes than standing over the other side of the white line. It's difficult because you want to support, you want to make sure that he's got every tool in his toolbox to do the job. Tommy had a tough job this year. I mean, he had a tough job. He knew the job was to get out of the league. We all knew that. And when you've got that target on your back of every team comes to us, wants to beat us, it's a tough job. I think the players this year handled it a lot better than last year because it was the same last year. They handled it a lot better this year. We obviously strengthened in the summer. I don't think we strengthened in ability. Maybe it strengthened in tactics or in a togetherness or whatever in the dressing room because we had some cracking ability on the pitch last year. You had Stephen Payne, you had Connor Essam, you had Billy Bingham. You had some big names right down the centre of the team. But maybe mentality, I don't know if it's the Warlow magic or whatever it is, but he got the job done and fair play to him.
A bit like how England were in the 2090s, was it Steven Gerrard Lampard?
Yeah.
Who couldn't get that magic. But credit, we'll speak on that. Credit to Tommy. I know that when Tommy came in, he was told, everyone highly rated him, and after the playoffs, he was very determined. And what was the thing that drew you to Tommy? I know there's an interview process. What was the thing that drove you to Tommy out of every other candidate?
Well, firstly, he was out of a job because he left Ashford in the summer, and that was a bit of an eye opener when he left Ashford. And there was always a bit in my mind to eventually he potentially could be a manager of Faversham one day, purely because of experience and stature of him and what he's done in the game and stuff. And I knew that he'd be up there for us to have a conversation. And I've never met Tommy before. I reached out to him personally and just said to him, do you fancy a chat? Because we are going to be recruiting. And he said yes. We had a meeting and then we invited others to come into the interview process. We had a mini board, like a recruitment board. We sat with a few people, but it was Tommy that was wanted from the get-go. And I knew that he would relish the task of the project that we've got there, with a decent budget, with a good name, a good old-fashioned town club, if you like, which I know he likes. So, we've worked together really well for the last 15 months. I'd say he's honest. He's on it. He's true. There's no sort of BS. It's just how it is, which is how we like to work. Players respect him. He's got that pool of experience. Every manager around non-league knows him. He can pick the phone up to anybody, and the players love him. So he's the right fit at the right time. And who knows going forward? We want a manager like Folkestone had Neil down there for 20 odd years. That's what we want. That shows progression. And Tommy's got the tools in his toolbox to do it. He'll get backed. And yeah, it's a hopefully that our season in the Isthmian starts a lot better than my last visit down there a few years ago, because it was horrendous. So yeah, we've got a lot of faith, and we just crack on and do our business in the summer, which we're on now, trying to get some deals over the line. Yeah, and crack on next year. Looking forward to it.
And the Ishmond brings up lots of different things next year. We don't know who we're.
No.
There's still 2 teams that are running. I think the first question to really ask is: have you ever experienced in all your time in non-league football? Have you ever seen a season where the FA has been so big on disciplinaries and points deducted? Ever?
No. It seems complicated these days. It seems very complex with some players playing Sundays, then they get suspended in, let's say, Isthmian, and they can come down to the Skeffel and play, or vice versa.
So weird, isn't it?
It just doesn't. In our day, it was like you're banned. You got 30 days or 28 days suspension or whatever you got, and it was all football. It was not just, you can go and pick and choose a league, you can go and play, and it was all football. So they need to simplify it a bit more, I think, or have more transparency on all the leagues. And do they bring them all together and try and have one system? I don't know, but it's complex, and it's obviously not working. You've got Jersey, you've got Red Hill, you've got Lid, you had VCD. So you've had a few teams there that are playing for stuff. I mean, VCD, at one point changed the season for us in a way.
Changed the momentum, didn't it?
Momentum. Lid, don't know if they're playing in Division 1 or the Prem next year. Same with Snodland, because they're in the mix as well down there. So
yeah, they were the team relegated, weren't they?
Yeah, and then Whiteleaf could be playing at Wembley last week, champions, and they finished third in the normal sort of league. So yeah, weird, but I'm sure it'll get sorted out quick.
Is there anyone in the Ishman who you're really looking forward to going watching?
In our league, I look forward now to the Sittingbourne derby. That's the one I think that was in the old days. That was the one that we used to look out for every time. I don't know if we'll be playing them maybe a Boxing Day or something, or Bank Holiday Monday.
Those are the best times to play them and Sheppey.
Yeah, they're the ones. So we have the swell tripod, if you like, of Sheppey, Faversham, and Sittingbourne. So there'll be big games for us. Always love playing against Herne Bay and Ashford. Local towns, they've got good following. So, yeah, home and away, we'll get on behind the scenes, really. And we'll wish each other well, I'm sure.
Do you secretly want a trip to Jersey?
I'd love a trip to Jersey. I mean, I've never been there before, so a little away day. We do like an away day at Faversham, getting the coach out and stuff now and again.
Get the boat over there.
We'll get the boat, or we're going to get a plane, whatever. So yeah, I think that's one to look forward to if it happens.
If it happens. The question really to talk about to next is the improvements over the years. I know when you said you came in, we spoke off camera about how the club was run down as such.
Yeah.
When you came in, was it sort of like looking around and seeing potential, or was it something like one job at a time?
Well, I've been at the club since I was 13 years old, so I know the club, and walking back into the club, not being there for a few years, I don't think it's changed much since I was there. So apart from the changing facility, the new changing rooms, the pitch was still the pitch, and the stands were still there. I remember, years ago we used to have Pat Miles in there rallying us, all the kids together to paint the thing and laying some bricks here and there and whatever. So the club's never changed. And it was obviously a lot of change over the last couple of years because we're trying to progress, not just up the levels, but progress the facility for the kids in Faversham, because I was one of them. And it took me off the street because in them days you had, you could be a rascal or you could be, do something. And I don't think without Faversham Town helping me take me off the rascal step, if you like, I don't know where I'd be. So I owe the club a lot, and now I'm trying to help and give back to it. So first things first was to get the club clean and tidy because it was in a bit of a mess. Then it was the pitch, which has been the biggest investment we've done and for the town, which allows our Faversham youth team to train on it Monday through to Sunday. We now got a women's team, as you know, and we've got, good Kent youth teams that are winning leagues. I think there's only one team that hasn't won a league this year, all the Kent youth side. So the setup there is important for the youth, and that's what it's all about, is the youth side. But on the other side it's got to be good looking pitch and a good looking stadium, which I think it is. When you look round the grounds, I think I'm still envious of Chatham, still envious maybe of Ramsgate and definitely Bromley. I've been to them grounds recently, and they're other levels up, which it's for us to strive to. So we've got visions of it, and it's going to take a bit of time, but we'll get there.
I think the key thing there, you said it as well, is get there, and it wasn't built a day. Especially Bromley, I've spent a lot of time at Bromley. I've seen the change, but in and around Kent, it's only probably Sittingbourne that hasn't got what people call the plastic pitch. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's important to have those these days.
Yeah.
Especially in what will be Ishmael next year, but last year it was a lot of there became fixture congestion because in this day and age, most guys pitches don't stand up to the weather. Is that the biggest, one of the bigger advantages as well? You can almost always have a game on.
When that's an advantage, and I think that's where when we was in the Skeffel last season, where teams like, as I mentioned, we're the only team in the playoffs that had a plastic pitch last season, and because of that, they had to catch up on their games that they've missed. So yeah, it's an advantage. We know our game's guaranteed to be on, and when we go into grass, especially in the November to February months, it's a 50-50 spin of a coin. And like Hive normally had a problem, Deal had a problem.
Well, you look at what are they called? Tunbridge.
Yeah.
Look at how
horrendous.
2 seasons in a row.
Horrendous.
2 seasons in a row. I remember going there towards the end of last season, and they were playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So to have those type of pitches is brilliant. Horrible for me because I have to stand in that weather no matter what. But it's brilliant, isn't it, to have it always make sure, guarantee you're going to have a game. Yeah,
and the boys play decent football on the 3G pitches. Where you can see how our boys play when you've got some proper ballers in our team with Nathan and Kieran and stuff like that can get the ball down and do some proper damage to the defenders. When they go away to the bobbly pitches, it's tough for them to do that. So you've got to have really away side, and you've got to have a home side sometimes in our level. But we still though, we've lost one away league game since August when we played Lid in the first season in the Skeffel. We lost against VCD. It's the only league game we've lost away from home. And as you know, most of them are on grass. So I'm not moaning too much about it. We've lost to VCD and Lid in 2 years.
VCD's pitch is
pretty good.
It's pretty close, isn't it?
I thought Bearstead's pitch was very good this year.
I really like that.
Really good.
There are some really good teams. I didn't think Lids was actually that bad. From when we were there.
We played Littlehampton in the FA Cup early on. That was a beautiful pitch. But then again, we've also played there when we was in the Isthmian. It got rained off. Halfway through a game, it got called off. And that was in the winter months. It was in January, I think, and horrendous. So
we haven't got to go there next year.
No, we haven't. No. So but there's some pitches which need work on, obviously, or plastic put down. But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of investment. Glebe are doing it this year. They're putting
also as well. Down. Some teams pay to that though. They know that that's what they are. That they go. And it's no offense to them. They're dogged teams. You come to us, you're gonna get into the mud. You're gonna get stuck in it. I think some teams play like that, don't they? And then you look at someone like Corinthian, who are, I would say, a dogged team. They fight for everything.
Good pitch.
It's all right. When we went there in January, I didn't think it was the best. But those are one of those teams where if it's a boggy pitch, they know how to play it. And unfortunately for us, it's maybe not thing. And I just touched on VCD as well because that day was a massive day. I remember it being an emotional day for many other reasons as well. But after that game, I think I said in the interview, this is not where we're going to win or lose a league. But a lot of people had that feeling of like it was sort of like a gone conclusion.
Yeah, you've got to remember, when you've got 16 players, a management team that walk off the pitch that are devastated about what's just gone on, losing 4-1. I don't think the score was correct, but in the end it really was. We had a very good chance there to bring it level. We missed 2 chances. I think Danny Parish could have had 3 in 5-10 minutes.
And then we had that really weird thing with the lino, didn't we?
That's just football. But from my point of view, is I've got 20 people walking up to the bar that I've got to pick up. I've got to make sure that they've got an ear, that they're going to have a sort of let off their chest a bit, and so it's difficult management, because even though I'm not in the dressing room, the players and the coaches and that are still an area to someone, and you have to sometimes put your supporters out on for the 90 minutes, and then you've got to go back step and go, right, now we've got to try and pick these boys up, which is what my job is a little bit behind the scenes as well. Give some reassurance that it's going to be all right, that sort of thing, really. But I didn't think we deserved to lose 4-1. I thought we had a few things that went against us. Had a bad start, which is never good. Danny scored a goal, brought it back to 2-1. Could have scored a second, could have scored a third. Then they scored the killer one. I think we had a sending off or sin bin.
It was a sin bin, which we won't be getting this year as we go up.
No, we had the sin bin, which was at the wrong time. And then time ran out on us. But I think we learnt from that. And I believe we could have gone 8 points clear of ECD that day if we'd have got the result. And the game, the title could have been done and dusted, but it wasn't, and it's football. So we'll pick ourselves up and go again. But I think the more disappointing was the next week. I think we drew a Stansfield away, or it was a couple of draws. I think that was the more, the VCD game, the loss wasn't that. It was we just couldn't find a goal. And I think that was more disappointing than the VCD, for me anyway.
Especially in the league we're in. Did you feel like most weeks everyone was stepping up because we were Faversham, because there's so many rumours about being paid, and we, obviously we film all of our games. It's all there for you to see. So in a not big-headed way, we are like the standard. We were the standard of the Skeffel, weren't we? We were the standard. Everyone was looking at us. Did you feel like when we played teams, they stepped up? Because absolutely. I remember going to Stansfield and knocking on the door the whole game, and then we almost lost it at the end.
Oh, massive. I mean, if I'm talking about when I was a player, if we was playing Kent League 2, used to go down to Dover, or used to go to Folkestone, or even Maidstone, who was in the Kent League 1, then they were in the Southern Leagues. You're playing at a stadium, you've got, 4 corners all filled in and stuff like that, and you'd up your game. So, I think that's pretty true. I mean, and people say about Faversham this, Faversham that, but we've built it in a way where, like, the pitch is a good income for us as a club. So we're trying to put the foundations in place that the club is self-sufficient from now on, really, because we've got outside interests, we've got the academy, we've got outside interests coming in. Not only got good sponsors, but we've also got other things going on around the area. We're trying to build above the changing room, so we've got a state-of-the-art sort of function area. So we've got a second pitch going in. So all these things are in there to make the club self-sufficient, and it's generating money. The crowds are up, and we've got darts leagues in there and stuff. So everyone looks upon it and says, oh, they're spending loads of money on players. We're not the biggest budget in the Skeffel League. I mean, I know people that, and they all talk. We haven't got we're up there, but we're not the biggest. So that's a big myth, but I don't mind, because they're talking about Faversham, which makes your life a lot easier because you get more views and more clicks and stuff. But Faversham I talked about, and quite rightly so, because it's been in the doldrums for a lot of years, and it's about time that it come up from the parapet, if you like, and raised its beautiful head and say, here we are, and we go again.
I would say, especially from someone who does our social media, but it isn't about, it's about our club. Our club has gone from strength to strength to strength, not just in social media, but just as we were just talking about there, it takes those steps. Can I ask what mistakes you feel you've made in those last 3 years? If any, I'm sorry.
There's loads. I mean, definitely, I didn't understand what it involved to be a chairman, to be I'm honest. I just thought it was a business that I could go in and rectify coming out of the red into the black. That's the easy bit. That is easy. It's a lot of emotion that you have to deal with as a fan, and trying to make sure that you're doing the right thing by the club, which obviously I've got an affiliation with for years and years and years. The people in the stands are your friends. You work with them, you went to school with them, they all know you. My family go to every game, and basically you don't want people in the corners saying bad things about the chairman because your families are there and stuff. So I've made some mistakes, but I think the managers, I've made a few errors in the management side of things that we've brought in. And, I know we've got a board there and we have got a process, but it really, I've got the final word, I guess, with their advice and their help. So I've made a few errors there, and probably either changing the manager too quick or not quick enough. So I don't know. Yeah, there's a few mistakes that I don't want to mention, but,
Right, no.
but there's a few there for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just did that there about going forward. You said building above the changing rooms. I know that's a foundation, isn't it? So you can. The idea is that hopefully you can. I don't know if you need planning permission, but if you want to build out, and you said you want to build sort of a stand in the state of the art sort of.
There's
boardroom.
There's 3 or 4 stages we're looking at. We've got the Duchy doing the project over the back of the club, which is going to generate 2,500 new homes. In that area, we've got our old pitch at the back has been land swapped for a parcel of land opposite, which is adjacent to our pitch now, which have another 3G pitch is going in there. So again, there's growth there, which the Duchy are putting it in as a community project. So we haven't got to fund it like the first pitch. That would be for us to use it for the community, which generates more income, not only from the pitch, but from the bar and the facilities and the burgers and everything else. It filters right down. Above the changing room is a 2 or 3 year project where it's a lot of money. So we've got to get our ducks in a row for that, which will be probably the best function room around the Swale area, for parking, for facility, and looking over 2 beautiful 3G pitches. I'm sure there'll be some wedding receptions up there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for that. So again, everything we try and put into that club is to do with generating revenues for the club, because it's got to match our ambitions financially to go up the levels. So you've got to build the foundations to go levels. It can't just keep having, money pumped into it, because it's not sustainable. I mean, I've had some health issues this year, and I did think a couple of times, am I going to stay on next year purely because of health? And you never know what's around the corner. My job is to make sure it's in good financial standing. So if ever something happened to me, it can carry on even bigger and better.
And what do you feel? I mean, the club's made massive improvements. What are some of the improvements as a club that you're proud of?
I think the atmosphere around the ground is amazing. I mean, people that step foot into the ground that haven't been there for a long time. And of course, I know a lot of people in the town, and even on our sort of Champions Day on the Bank Holiday Monday, an old school classmate of mine, he's not been up there for years. And it's his first game up there because he's heard the buzz about Faversham Town, that I'm back in the town doing it and stuff. And he came up, we had a lovely chat, and he's, that's a good achievement, getting the town back engaged with the football club. You can see that by the gates. I think we've got some great full-time staff, Kerry, in that sort of hospitality area with food, drink, and she looks after the ground. She's done amazing. When we walked in there, it wasn't even clean. Now you could eat your dinner off everything. We've got 5-star ratings, and she takes ownership like it's hers, which is what Faversham people do. They look after things. And Gillian came in last January to basically run the club from an administrative point of view, youth teams, first teams, club secretary, the lot. And again, like us, so families embedded in the club. Ashley, kit man, the kids, with my kids, the mascot and the shop, all the family side of it are in there, all working in their own volunteer. They're volunteers, really. So that's a good achievement, getting the club back, the town back engaged and getting some really good people up there. On the pitch, it's easy. Best day of our lives was a few Mondays ago. And the projects going forward, no one really sees. We've got in the background going forward, definitely the Kent Youth League set up with the youth and our youth policy now. Everyone's got the kit from top to toe, from the first team to, I'm going to go down to the little toddlers. Everyone's got the kit. I think. Yeah, they've got the kit. We've done wonders with them this year. Phil Miles runs the youth development there, and I think we've pretty much won most of the leagues we're in this year with Kent Youth level, which has been amazing. Got 18s, I think, that are playing a double header soon, or they've played it, or they're playing it. They're close to winning the league. Women come third, big achievement, get the women's team. The academy, that was another achievement, getting an academy there, because that was always something I wanted to do for the post-16s, which is growing year on year. Sports Connect do a good job down there for us. And again, facilitated by the pitch. Without the pitch, you can't really have one. Not as you can have one, but it's hard for them to train on wet, bobbly pitches in January. So the whole lot, I'm quite proud of what we've done. There's a board, all Faversham people on the board, ex-players on the board. I think 4 or 5 are ex-players. Homegrown people in there that are born and bred in Faversham. So everyone around that table's got it running through their veins, which is what the town, the club needs. It doesn't need people outside coming in to pretend to do it. It needs people that actually know and feel the heartbeat of the town. So yeah.
From someone who is from outside, I can wholeheartedly say, Faversham is now the place where I see it as my home, and I know that you know Daisy. Daisy absolutely loves it. She goes to school and raves about it. So it's one of those things where
we've got some adopted people. We've got John Newsom who's an absolute credit to the club. He comes from Gravesend, and he's at every home and away game. You know, this is an adopted, if you like, Faversham town supporter. So, and he's well loved and well known.
We've got a few of those. We've got Guy the Canadian. We've got Guy the Canadian. And we've got people who just want to come. And I think that's the thing that when I first got here was, when I was looking around, it was how can we improve an all-around status for our club.
Yeah. So I think we've got some away supporters now. We've got some great support. We've got the way there's sort of like come to it where you feel guilty on the other supporters that you don't go to the away game. We've got Mick and Diane travelling down from Scotland to get to a game and taking their suitcases on the coach to go to an away game, to then get off the bus and then go to Gatwick or Heathrow afterwards to go on a plane to go on holiday. That's the sort of dedication we got.
Dan did that on the Monday, didn't he?
Yeah.
The guy who ran
Dan's done it, yeah.
He went on a cruise straight after. Yeah. But to sideline that as well, if people can't make it, we do run great services.
Yeah, we do.
We do run the radio.
We do.
We run a very good highlight system, which can always improve. But it's not just you've got to be there to experience it as well. We offer a whole experience at Faversham where we want to try and give everybody who can't make it or whatever their commitments are the chance to always be involved in our club.
Yeah, if you look at the match day itself, I mean, you know, a match day, I don't know what time you get at the club, but it's probably 11 or half 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Kick-off's at 3. So you're looking at the match day itself with our mascots, our flag bearers, you know, on the thing, with everything to do with the mascot and the music, everything, try to get the best match day we can possibly get for our fans, right? So when we go away, not every club's got that, so we have it. We've got social media like we've got. I know that there's some good social media clubs, but we have our highlight. I mean, the highlights, the interviews, everything else is all geared around to give sort of transparency and access to every part of the club we can do. So all the supporters, if they're on holiday, if they're away, they can see up-to-date highlights, they can see managers' interviews, and they can basically still touch and feel the club on a daily basis. I don't think the club's been in a better place ever before. I mean, I'm sure fans and supporters will tell me otherwise, maybe, but I don't think it's ever been as good as it has now. And if we can still improve those 1%, as we talk about on a regular basis, we'll improve them. And we're not shy of making change, and we're not shy of moving forward. And, you know, if it's going to benefit the club, if it's going to benefit Tommy's team, even to do with funding new players or whatever, we'll do it.
We'll move on to that now with the new season approaching. I know that it's Tommy that has the last say.
Yeah.
But how is that sort of looking for next season? Is that a case of keeping a core and then building outwards and to get more players in, or is it a case of try and keeping what we got and then adding one or two? I know you can't talk for Tommy, but
no, I mean we have conversations. We was on the phone last night. We have a conversation. Whenever there's a conversation to be had, we speak. We had a good team. We've got a great team. We've got a great team at Faversham. Won the league, lost 2 games last year, 21 clean sheets. We're stepping up, and I know everyone will know that we have to refresh. We have to improve in certain areas, I'm sure, because, Liverpool, Real Madrid do it. So Faversham Town will do it. And we're eyeing a few up at the moment. Tommy's in control of that. I'm only involved when he wants me to get involved. We speak. Do you need me to speak to this player? Do you need me to go and talk? I'll go and meet them. And if I do, he'll tell me. So it's his decision. And quite rightly so. That's the way it should be.
I know we've got 3 players on contracts. You said on the Kent Online the other day about Jacob.
Yeah.
We've just released Tommy Fag, and we've got Tashi, who, even though he signed around just before Christmas, has taken up his other option.
Yeah.
How important is it to tie some of those bigger players down that have those momentum?
To be fair, the contract's there really is for both parties. We know that no one's going to come in for Tommy Fag. We know that no one's going to come in for Tashi because they are sought after players, because they're game winners. And we want to commit them for the season, so we don't even got to worry about. They're the hardest players to get in. Is the strikers and that sort of player. They're the ones that are paid the most, and it goes throughout football, throughout the world. They're the ones, the sought after ones to try and get a striker in. Arsenal can't get one in. That's how hard it is. So you want to try and tie them down. That's the thing. That's good business from Tommy to do that. There's a few other ones that, if they want to go on a contract and we feel it's right, we'll do it. It's not just the strikers. If they want to go on it and they feel they can stay for the year, we want a settled team. So contracts, you can always get out of them if it's a 2-way thing. There's just a bit of commitment, and it also helps if another team comes in for them. You can ask for a fee, So that's being honest. That's when you can do. We've had it before. We've wanted a player and they've asked for a fee, and if we want to do it, we've done it.
And then also, probably the good thing is that players' heads aren't turned by, someone else from a higher division is just to say Chatham, for example, are coming in for us. We go, well, no, he's under contract, and then the player knows that as well, and they've got it gives them security as well.
Yeah.
We just spoke there about players and how happy they are to stay, but the happiness of winning the league must have meant a lot to you. And what has it been like since you've won the league? Has there been more congratulations? Do you feel sometimes that the target on our back has hindered us?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, I was quite shocked to find out how little league winners' medals are in our team. That how many of the boys haven't won a league. Like, they might have gone up through the playoffs, or they might have done something, or a cup final or whatever. But it's very few that actually won the league in our squad, which was quite surprising. But they've got one now, and I think there's some people that we targeted last year that didn't come, that didn't win anything this year. So it's a case of, did they wish they'd have come? Did they see the vision that we had about winning the league this year? It's their choice. Since we've won the league, it's been amazing. There've been so many there's some decent people in football. Coaches, chairman, players. I mean, our old players, that I try to always, if I can, keep in contact with them. People that are playing in the Vars, people that played big FA Cup games last year, because they're big games, always try and text them. Even like Mafula, if he scores an hat-trick, I'll text him, and because of they're good guys, they're good people, and like Gary Locklear texted me about winning the league. So Faversham hopefully have got a decent name, and quite we've got a moral compass there where we treat people right, and the players that have left, I don't think personally I've never fell out of any of them. I always keep in contact because you never know. They might come back, which is great. We always welcome them back. There's a few obviously are probably upset about it, and a few people that didn't act accordingly when we won the league. I know we had Rushdall done the Guard of Honour for us, which I think was quite nice. And if it was us and we lost the title to VCD and we played them last game of the season, it would have been an absolute must for us to do it. I think it's what you do. So, yeah, I mean, majorly positive from everybody. A couple of little things that that you sort of raise your eyebrows about, but it is what it's football.
Yeah, I think you've hit it on the nose there, and as well, football's about tradition. Whether you are a team who have just won the league or have just had a bad moment, never forget that it could be you next time that's in the driving seat of what we are, and it's definitely something that we as a club always try to keep those traditions.
Absolutely right, especially when you've got Whitstable in the FA Vars final, and there's some good people down there and some good players, ex-players of us. I mean, you look at Wembley last Sunday, we had 5 players, I think, from Faversham that were on the pitch. Even down to Zach Hanser that come on at the end there, so you've got Finn with Jake, and you've got Ronald, and there's quite a lot of players that are associated with Faversham on the pitch. You've got Helgi and stuff, all ex-Faversham players, and great. I'm pleased for them. And the best thing for me on a Sunday night is to message the people and put out a post to say congratulations. And they've got an open top bus going through the town, I think, soon. And fair play to them, they deserve it. And I think if I'd like to be treated like I treat. So yeah.
What is the ceiling for this club? Where do you? I know you said earlier about Chatham, about how you admire them. Where do you want this club to get? Do you want this club to get into the Football League? I mean, I know you probably do, but what's the realistic season?
We're going in steps, obviously. The biggest thing for me was to get back into the Isthmian because, as I said to you earlier, I felt quite responsible about that coming down to 2 years ago. I felt gutted for ourselves. We didn't go up last year, but I'm over the moon we got this year. Now we start. We're a year behind schedule, I think. I would like to get it to the furthest it's ever been in the non-league is the next step. I think that sort of playoff area in our league we're going into. I think they missed out on a playoff final. We've never been into the Prem. That will be the step one, is to take the club as far as it's ever gone and then build again. So I would say in 5 years to get out of the Isthmian Prem into the Conference South is doable. I think Chatham have nearly done it. I think, when you look around, Chichester was in our league 2 years ago. They was playoff bound, and there's a lot of teams around that are close to doing it. So it's not unachievable. So the first objective is to get in our level that we're in. We start off in August, is to get the highest possible point we can, and that should be playoff final, win it, or promotion. That then will take the club to its highest level ever, and that's the goal that I want to achieve.
No pressure on Tommy then, is there?
Well, I mean, everything's pressure. Because I'm sure if we didn't do what we're doing, I'd get the pressure. No. And so my job is to try and take that pressure away.
You want to emulate the Chathams, Cray Valley, who have had
massive.
Playing Charlton in the FA Cup and taking them to a replay. Is that something that you
dream?
Like? Your dream's Liverpool, but we've got to get to the third round for that. But is that the dream to sort of get to the first round of the FA Cup and pull a Charlton or for us Gillingham, who are on our doorstep, out of the bag and say, listen, this is Faversham. This is us arriving. A lot of teams now. You go back to Sheppey as well. Their FA Cup run. What is it?
Ramsgate.
Ramsgate as well. I mean, Ramsgate have gone from strength to strength, aren't they? I know that they've sort of been like us, and they've gone from one step to the other, but. Is that another
massive
thing you want? You want a good FA Cup run?
I mean, especially
it's the dream.
Our ages, the FA Cup was the one when there's only live football we could ever get on a telly was the FA Cup final, and it was one a year sort of thing, So the FA Cup is huge, and to get a run in that is every club's dream, not only financially, but the kudos of having a run in the FA Cup. Sheppey, you just said it, Ramsgate, and you look at and you watch them on the telly, and they're live on the telly. And you're with these players week in, week out. You're watching on the telly. I was, as happy as I was about all these televised games and stuff, I'm gutted that it's not Faversham. And I bet every Faversham support will be the same. We will have our day. It will happen. Don't know if it's this year, next year. It seems to go around. Everyone gets a little 5 minutes of fame, and I'm sure we'll get there. But you need a lot of luck. You need to be in the right place at the right time. Ramsgate fair played and got to the third round. I think it was against Wimbledon, was it? And then, with Sheppey and, they had a great run there in the live on telly with, BBC presenters on the pitch. Who don't want that? I mean, I'd like to see Laura Woods at Faversham on the pitch and have a chat with her myself.
We'd all like to see Laura
exactly.
Woods. But the last few questions, I know we've been sitting this for a bit of time now, but next season, the season tickets have gone up. Not that it wasn't expected. I think a few fans, especially in some of the chats I'm in, were saying they expected, and they said last year was an absolute bargain. Where do you stand though? Because I know that you're not afraid to talk online openly, which is lovely. But where do you stand when someone is sort of questioning it and not understanding the thinking behind it? Yeah,
you just got to explain it to them. I mean, end of the day, I don't agree with how Liverpool spend money on Darwin Núñez, let's say, but and I could have my say on Twitter if I wanted to say that, and I get it. They want to have their say. I think to go and explain the situation and justify why it's that cost. I think it's only fair for them to hear. The only person that really can say is me, so I go and I talk to them. They're always welcome to come to me in the club. I'm there every week, as you know, Brownie, and I talk to most people. And if there's issues with that, I can explain it to them. The facility they've got, where the club's going, the league they're in, we're the same as every other season ticket, but they've got better facilities and a better sort of outlook on their progression. So. And to be honest, they were going to be higher than that, but we brought them down as low as we possibly can do.
This is the early bird at the minute, because obviously after the early bird it goes up. So
well, that's another thing. We got another board meeting before that goes up, but who knows? The early bird's there, like everyone does. Not to say it's going to have to go up. If it does, it does. But we'll do our best not to.
And again, we touched on it already, but the people look at that and they think, oh, it's going up for so much. But last year was a steal, because you said before, you want people to start coming in, get the bug. And it's not once you've got them in, you're trapping them in, you're getting them in, people are seeing all of our youth teams there. We said like I was heavily involved in the making of our women's team last year. I know that last year when I came in as well, there wasn't any camps for kids, and something that we, me, Gillian, and a few people, it's a whole thing at the club where sometimes people look at the small part of a season ticket going up, but the whole experience at Faversham is getting better and better because of the people coming through the door. The women come and watch all the time, and I know as well that if you are part of our youth system, you children get a free season ticket, don't they? And that gets people through the door. And it's about the atmosphere at our club. When people are asking those situations, though, do you feel like sometimes you can't please everybody?
You can never do that. I mean, you can never please everybody. But I do know that the value is there. I mean, if I can't justify it, that's one thing. But the justification's there. I think 30% off of the normal price ticket. To be an early bird, you get 2 extra games this year than you did last year. I think they're getting a game less this year in the Scuffle. I think it's 19 teams
No, because you've got to wait to see who's staying up, don't you?
I see the leagues come out. It looked like they got 19 teams.
I realised that they didn't state that Lid or Snodden were going to stay, because one of them will get the recruit, won't they?
So we've got 2 extra games, and obviously the standard is a lot better, and I'm sure they're going to want to see improvement in the team and that extra little bit of a better player maybe. But I would justify whatever I need to with anyone, because if I can't explain it, I shouldn't do it. So
also as well, fans get all the home friendlies as well.
Yeah,
there are some the ones that we've played so far at home are big teams.
Dover, Folkestone, we've got another one trying to get penciled in. Tommy's working on it now. So yeah, and of course, you know, I do my bit. Some games that we'll have, you know, some cut-priced alcohol and whatever, and have a free bar and that. So if you look at it in just that isolation, there's other things that go on in the club that save people pennies on an ad hoc basis as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, like food's cheap as well. The food stand, you've got I know open this year, and Izzy does it really well because Daisy goes in there. But you've got the merchandise store.
Yeah, the shop. Yeah.
This year. Also, as well, you've got not just one bar. You've got the pop-ups.
Yeah.
So on the bigger days, it isn't just a queue. I know that on the Champions Day and on Whitstable, it was couldn't get it for love nor money. But like you said as well, it's all about improvements. We've got the other end of the ground that is a bit, what I would call it the away end, but it's got nothing down there. But I'm sure that as time goes on,
we've got plans for that. We've got plans for that. Yeah, we've got plans for that.
To have all four sides covered off. But the main thing about today was to sort of sit here and say where we've been, where we've come from. What do you, as an owner, want to do forward? Because we're not stepping on Tommy's toes. No. We're not trying to announce things that shouldn't be done. But we're just sort of trying to give people who want to come and watch Faversham an insight, and also the fans who, you know, you've got the Gunpowder Army, you've got other fans, you've got the halfway liners. They all do come together, even though at sometimes they disagree. We're still a massive Faversham family. I think that's what today was about. Is there anything you want to get out here, or a message you want to give to the people going forward that can lead something lasting for you? I mean,
we're there to suggestions. Anything that we have a suggestion box in there. I mean, anything that people think we can improve on, we'll look at it. We sit at a board meeting. Hardly anyone suggests anything because I think we're getting there on our own. But any suggestions that people want to see in the club, I think we're looking at food, maybe doing pop-up food stalls, maybe and stuff like that. So we're trying to evolve every single month in the club. The outside bars, I don't think there's enough now in a big game. So we've got to improve that facility. I think that where the food is, it's getting too small an area. So we've got to look at that. We're improving. We're trying to improve where we can. The improvements take investment, and then you get the investment back when you've improved it. So again, we've invested in the scoreboard. We've done the
never
bar,
even touched them.
No, and the shop and everything else, and we've done quite a lot. I mean, just thousands and thousands of pounds of investment, and people can walk in the ground and see the investment straight away. It's in their faces. Look at that scoreboard. Look at that. The halfway line has been on me for years about a scoreboard. You know, they wanted to even contribute to a scoreboard at one point.
No, they want hangers behind.
Yeah, so we listen, and you know, and we act on it. So yes, the away end needs a bit of shelter. We identify that. And some facilities down there. There's also toilets needed over there. So this is all money, you know, and people think, oh, you know, it's just cost money, and we've got to put our money in the right areas at the right time, because there is no sort of golden bucket of gold at the end of the rainbow, because it's got to be, we've got to generate it ourselves.
I think that's it really from today, but thank you for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you personally, and thank you from everyone in Faversham, because without you investing, and I'll never say it as other fans do, but it's investing. And I think the major majority that people don't understand is if you don't invest in a club, you don't move forward. So thank you for everyone from Faversham. Thank you for all of the good hires, and hopefully we have many more years of this. Yeah, I mean, the support's been amazing. I've got to admit, I've re-engaged with some old school friends and stuff for many years, so it's been a pleasure. My family are involved in the DNA of it now. It's been an up and down journey, but it's all about the support. It's all about the people at Faversham, and you know, it's good to be back, and look forward to plenty more good times that we had this season just finished. And yeah, thanks for all the support. Thank you.